Maker's Trust across the street had some interesting events occur. This building, according to FEMA, had no fires in it. What happened to this beam? That's not from a mechanical overload. This was a horizontal beam supporting the floors. Why would it shrivel up that way like you would curl a ribbon for a package?
A chemical signature of nuclear fusion is tritium, the radioactive isotope of hydrogen. Tritium levels 55 times higher than normal were found in the sewer water below ground zero. Stephen Jones is an expert in nuclear fusion, so we traveled to a 9/11 Truth Conference in Indiana and asked Stephen Jones about that.
Tritium is an interesting character because tritium can come from other sources. And backlights of exit, I'm not saying that's what it was, but it could be just something like that. In other words, it can be a contaminant that arises not from nuclear reactions but from backlighting. And so yes, the tritium was high, and that was reported and published, but it is not proof of many nukes.
That's the official story. Supposedly, the two airplanes had about 34 curies of tritium in the exit signs. Tritium is a lightweight gas. It's hydrogen. When released, it goes up into the upper atmosphere. To make it down into the water sample, it must first somehow be converted into tritiated water and sprinkled down to the ground into the sewer system, get diluted by 2 heavy rainstorms and 1 million gallons of fire hose water, and still raise the sample up to 55 times the normal background level. In 1965, in Council, Alaska, there was a building fire involving the release of 3,000 curies of tritium, about 100 times more than what was supposedly released by the 9/11 airplanes. Water samples from that incident showed no tritium. None. Nuclear fusion can be initiated with a nuclear fission trigger. Uranium in nuclear fission typically breaks down into 2 rare elements, strontium and barium. The U.S. Geological Survey took samples from around Lower Manhattan. Barium and strontium were both found in the dust, elements that have no business being there at all. Not only were they found, but the concentrations were correlated. In the samples where barium went up, strontium also went up. And the sample with the highest concentration was the only one taken right at ground zero. Ground Zero fumed for over 100 days through rainstorms, freezing temperatures, and constant watering. Judy Wood identifies the effect as ongoing molecular dissociation.
What is this haze? Is it fire? Fire would have a point source. You could see where the fire was coming from, where it would be the strongest. Also, smoke tends to go up. This is just looming over the ground zero remnants. No point source, it's just hanging around there. What is it? This photo was taken at the end of October, Halloween, actually. But what is this white around here? If it were hot, these people would be cooked like on a grill. And its hydraulics wouldn't work. Not only that, they'd permanently destroy their equipment. So they wouldn't have their equipment sitting there if it was going to be destroyed. The people wouldn't be alive if it were hot. What is this white stuff coming out of the ground? And then we notice up above here, you see misting. Why are they misting this? It's not fire. It's not hot. Doesn't seem to be any more where the water is coming from. Water is just being added to this pile. But that's very dense white stuff, whatever it is.
I don't
White smoke for 100 days.
White
Sorry,
for
it's
100 days. Well, yeah, no,
yeah, makes you really wonder.
Directed energy weapon rather than kinetic energy. These are kinetic energy weapons, heat and motion. You know, wrecking balls, bombs, missiles. This is from 1989. Science by Press Conference. This
Is it a
Stephen
shortcut
Jones.
to fusion energy? I don't want to disappoint anyone. I think I'll read my lips answer here, and then I'll carry on. I think that'll become clear why I'm saying that. Can you read my lips on that back in the back? It says no. Energy is a long way off. That's why I say no. This is our result. It's just way off. It's I think a door that's open to us, but really a door on physics more than on energy. Geophysics in particular could be an interesting area.
Don't go there, don't research there. But then he calls for a vote, and he holds up his hand. Let's vote to destroy the careers of Pons and Fleischmann, and vote that it's not science. Why I'm bringing this up is we want to be sure this doesn't happen again. Here, he raises his hand. Department of Energy funding. And we have Steve Koonin, who was just appointed by the first administration of Obama to an undersecretary of the Department of Energy. And these guys are thinking about raising their hand. Oops. And peer pressure causes people to do things like this too. If everyone else holds their hand up, you start holding your hand up. You don't want to be caught not holding your hand up. But they're determining science by vote.
Opportunism, Jones insisted on going public quickly with his opportunism, Jones insisted on going public quickly with his opportunism, Jones insisted on going public quickly with his opportunism, Jones insisted on going public quickly with his
All right, well, it's stuck there. Now, let's look. The building turned to dust. Something did that. People say, well, you don't know of a technology that did that, so therefore it didn't, happen. Wait, you start out with determining what happened first. It's very important because if you start out with what you know, you won't get there because you've never seen this before. But we know it happened, so therefore there is a technology that exists that can do this. That technology can also be used for free energy. Now let's vote on that. The tower's gone. So this is more of determining facts. Did they mostly turn to dust? There exists a technology that instead of molecules being attract each other, they repel each other. What happened is not impossible because it happened. This is another Charlie Pound song about gatekeepers. Opportunity lost.
High in the sky is all you've been fed. I think that is why you forgot your own head. Sometimes you need to be cruel to be kind. That makes me believe you've lost your own minds. To the gatekeepers, they hold all the keys. They're the gatekeepers, information disease.
All the data says that some form of directed electromagnetic energy was used to basically break down the materials of the World Trade Center. And the connections that Jones has between the cold fusion experience that everybody can read about in Dr. Malaw's book and with what's going on right now with the 9/11 situation, it's just a mirror image of him muddling up and then, trying to get public opinion against, whoever his target is. In this case, it's Dr. Judy Wood. In the previous case, it was Pons and Fleischman.
The important part is to realize we don't want history to repeat. People tend to mindlessly follow the herd. Remember about the problem with groupthink. You think that this person knows what they're talking about, and everybody joins in, and look what it cost us. That was 1989. And it took 20 years to somewhat vindicate Fleischman, but it was too late. And we don't want that to happen again. And it's very important for each one of us to hang on to our own thoughts. Be independent. And otherwise, people get herded off to one side or the other. But what I see here is a lot of similarities with the tritium. What on earth would tritium be doing at the World Trade Center without the ionizing radiation?